in the officers' barracks there. And they lived in the club. We ate in the officers' dining hall in the club. They were met by senior Japanese officers, picked them up every day, and they went someplace. They were gone most of the day, and they would come back. Now, each day they assigned us to do something. The second day we were there, they told us to go down and supervise the dismantling, or the removal of the propellers on all of the Home Defense Force fighters. They had about 3 squadrons of fighters on the base, and they had been ordered to take the propellers off and lay them on the ground so the airplanes couldn't be started up. And we were supposed to make sure that that happened and then report back to the general when he came in.
So you must have had a good idea that they were negotiating a formal surrender.
Yeah, I'm sure that the Japanese did too. They were expecting them. They came to the hangar and met them. The general knew what he was going to do. He had his orders, his sealed orders. Turned out that the general was, or his son had married General Hap Arnold's daughter. General Hap Arnold was the chief of the Air Force at the time. So he had gone to his son's wife's father, who was a vice president of Douglas Aircraft, which maintained operational relationships with the Japanese throughout the war. The Japanese built engines copied from Douglas versions, and they were buying Douglas technology all through the war.
So Douglas technology made money on both sides of the war.
Oh yeah. So this vice president from Douglas was there representing the United States in the negotiating arrangements for the surrender. Now they had to know that the Japanese wanted to surrender, and in time to have brought this guy out of civilian life, commissioned him as a 2-star general, given him a command, given him orders, given him equipment, given him a schedule, prepared an airplane. That, for something like that, probably took 10 days to 2 weeks. And they had to get all of this done in time for him to start out and be in Okinawa before the war ended. Now, they got there on, the Hiroshima bomb was dropped on the 8th, and they landed on the 9th. And so we didn't have to drop the bomb, because we already knew that the surrender team was on its way. Our negotiating team that negotiated the surrender that the Japanese had asked for was on its way, and we dropped the bomb anyway. They still wanted terms, and we were there to negotiate the terms. They dropped the bomb while the team was en route, so the Japanese knew that we had a team en route, and then we dropped the bomb. And the bomb was so devastating that the Japanese had no heart to continue the war. I think they dropped the second one just to make sure the Japanese weren't going to get a change of heart and back out of their whatever negotiations they had asked for, because they immediately accepted unconditional surrender after that. You know what I found most interesting is we captured 2 atomic bombs that the Germans had built in the tunnels east, the Harz Mountains tunnels east of Peenemünde, and they were completely intact. They were waiting to be delivered to Norway, where some special German bombers had been built to carry them on one-way missions to New York and Washington. And the target date for dropping on New York and Washington was 19 September of 1945, and we dropped them on Japan in August of 1945.
Do you think the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission and atomic bomb development programs
had to follow that?
Were they far enough along to have really been originated out of the those programs?
I don't see how they could be. We had our test explosion only 3 weeks earlier at White Sands Missile Test Range. 3 weeks before we dropped the first one on Hiroshima. And it must have taken 10 days to 2 weeks to get the bomb from the United States to Tinian Island and on the cities. So that leaves us a week for development. Do you think we developed an atomic bomb from a test vehicle to an operational device? And 2 different ones. The first test vehicle was a hydrogen bomb. The bomb dropped on Hiroshima was a uranium bomb, and the one dropped on Nagasaki was a plutonium bomb. 3 different bombs entirely. Completely different systems. Did we make them all? I don't know. I don't think we had a chance of making that much more. We had a problem getting enough heavy water to carry off the tests in New Mexico. And we didn't have enough